For the final time this weekend, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. We're here in Valencia and we are ready to rock and roll for round 5 of what has been an absolutely fascinating season. It has to be said. Here in Spain, though, 2 races already underway. Alex Legui down there hiding behind the Catch My Leader sign. Because, why, I hear you ask? Our very own Alex will be talking to some of the movers and shakers ahead of this, what I'm anticipating to be a rather exciting race indeed. So, without further ado, let's head down to the grid to find out who Alex has found.
Punctures, penalties, reliability issues. We've had it all here in Valencia. It's the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour and we are ready for the race 3 after 2 very exciting races from our perspective, not so much from some of our drivers. Yes, there's been a few dramas down the line, particularly in race 2, but it was good for us and good for this gentleman here, Santia Rutia. I mean, I don't want to put any pressure on, but if you were to do the hat-trick, if you did win this race, you would be the first driver in FIA touring car history to win 3 races over a race weekend.
It doesn't really matter. It's just a win and you collect the same points. So the job is to win, of course. And, you know, we need to survive with the heat, as I always say. I have Ted next to me, so I hope we can play a team game and, you know, just move forward. Important thing will be to go to the good start and then turn the T1 lead in the race and then try to control. But so far, so good a weekend, so I hope we can keep going in this way.
If I was a fly on the wall in that team briefing, I know you're only going to give me the media line, but let me in on the gossip. What is the team order?
The team order is always to have the best result for the Cyan car and Geely car. So as long as we can work together and get the best result for the team is the best. So we will see how it goes. You want some polemic answers, but it's nothing going on between us. It's all good. We work as a team like always, and we will try to win the race and finish P1, P2 like we did in race 1 with that.
Did you see, after the end of race 1, the size of the jump that Santi did? Is your leg okay? All good? You're in good? I noticed that you didn't jump off the car after race 2.
My grandmom used to say the frog, so when I jump. So yes. The frog is back, and I'm very happy for it, and I hope the frog will come back again today, so I'm on it.
I hope so. Froggy Santi, have a great one. Vamos. Right, I knew that's what would happen. Let's just go and see from Ted's perspective whether he agrees. And actually, you know, whether he agrees or not is irrelevant. And also, Ted is like the king. I knew! Are you walking away from me?
I didn't see you were coming there.
Why? Give me the non-media line, even a little glint in your eye. I knew it.
A lot of things can happen. It's so warm outside, you know, anything can happen, I think. So I'm happy. Just be driving. Let's see.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I don't think I want to hit my teammate again.
No.
Not again.
No.
So.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's probably, don't do that. Just go around him.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I like your style then, but I will do my best.
Good. All right. He deserves a championship again. Is that not? It's been a while, you know. All right, who have we got? Like Norby? No, I wanted to speak to Victor because Victor has won the ETS Driver Trophy twice this weekend. And God, dare I sit down? It was hard enough kneeling down to speak to these drivers, let alone kneeling on the floor to speak to them when they've got a cold, flannel across their face. Hello. Oh, goodness me. Right, you, sir, are on lightning form this weekend. You've had to play it pretty safe, haven't you, really, in the last 2 rounds, despite the fact that you have also won the ETS trophies. But now, you're not playing for the TCR Spain battle, so now it's full attack, right?
You're 100% right. Yeah, but it's been a great weekend in that championship. We've managed to win both races in that category. So, but yeah, this race 3, no points to think of. So we'll just go forward and see how good we will be. We'll be warm again, like all weekend long. So same for everyone.
Yeah, it is bonkers. How good is it to be racing alongside the World Tour drivers?
Amazing. Like people you watch growing up, now we're fighting with them. So no, really happy to be here.
Amazing. Oh, this doesn't feel that cold anymore.
Still better than nothing. It will be better than the 65 we have in like 10 minutes in the car. So
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I can't complain too much. Go like, oh God, okay, just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Oh, goodness me. Have a great one, Victor. Look forward to seeing him back on the podium again. All right. Okay, I would like to have a quick chat to Mikel Ascona. It's his home race. It's just been such a difficult weekend for him. Sorry, gents. But I was just saying, it's been a really tricky weekend for you, hasn't it? But the season is long.
Yeah, correct. It's very long. I mean, with 40 kilos, we knew it's going to be a hard weekend. But after yesterday leading the race for 21 laps, I was expecting a victory, good amount of points of the weekend. And it turned everything completely. But we are still P6 on the last race, so it's not that bad. We are still in a position to score good points. And yeah, that's the target.
What is your process of being able to reset from a situation like you had yesterday?
It was tough because leading the race, such a comfortable pace, good with the car. And then on the second race this morning, I struggled a lot. Behind 5 cars in front of me, dirty air was affecting me a lot. Also the temperature affected a lot. So I had to be very defensive in the morning with that. And now I am expecting also a defensive race. So you have to change the chip and try to be in a points.
Do you feel now that you're getting a bit older, do you find that your mental ability to cope with situations like that is better than it used to be? Or are you still, how do you cope with it?
Alice, I am still 29.
Yeah, but you are getting older.
I'm getting old.
You're catching up with me because I stopped.
Yeah. It's true. It seems like yesterday when I joined in 2019, and now it's like 2026. But no, for sure the experience gives you an extra experience to how to approach the races. So I think this helps a lot.
Yeah, good. All right. Have a great one. Vamos. It would be really nice for Mikel to have a better situation for this race. Right, before our grid time runs out, let's have a quick word to Jan, who I'm sure will be delighted to speak to me. This poor fella. Sorry. I'm turning up. Right, before we talk about serious stuff, get your shoe off. Yeah, it is. Now's the time and the place. Go on, let loose.
Why, you are sad?
I am sad, yeah. It's gutting really gutting, genuinely.
It's a bit tough, let's say, according the fact that the guys provide me a car that could be able to fight for victories in every race this year, as Santi shown. But we have outpacing all the teammates this weekend so far. Every time we had to, and in qualifying especially, even with 30 kilo. And yeah, it's a bit painful to DNF 2 races, to lose out a lot of points, especially on the 3-race format. But at the end of the day, what else we can do? We have done a faultless weekend up to now. So nothing to regret. It's just how racing is. And as I say, to be honest, now I'm getting a bit more wise maybe, but it is what it is. And it's already in the past, and now I need to look in the future.
Good. All right. Have a good one. I genuinely hope that Jan has a better race. Fingers crossed for him. Reliability issues, punctures, lots of drama. I expect we will see much of the same in race 3. But yeah, will Santi make it back on the top step? Let's see. Vamos.
Thank you very much, Alex Legui, down there on the grid ahead of this round 5 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. And if you are joining this broadcast having not seen qualifying race 1 or race 2, first and foremost, tisk 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 to you, you've missed out a couple of really interesting races. Jan Olyshe, must have run over several times a black cat on the course of this weekend. It has just not worked out for him. So much pace for the French driver. Doesn't have the results to go with it. However, we reset, we restart, and we go again for a final time this weekend. I think for Jan, starting on 9th, doesn't sound a great position, but the amount of pace that driver's got and the amount of hunger that driver has got to move forward, don't discount Jan Olyshe just yet from being a bit of a player in this motor race. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls watching from home, what do we have in front of us today? We have a 30-minute race plus 1 lap. The grid has been formed by the cumulative point total of qualification, race 1 and race number 2. That's how we get the running order. And what is very interesting that you must know coming into this one, race 1 and race 2 was in conjunction with TCR Spain, and the TCR Spain drivers were racing for their own championship and their own points within our race. Race number 3 is quote-unquote discretionary for our TCR Spain drivers, so there are no points on offer in their championship. This is just a pure motor race. This is just a pure case of charging forward and getting the best result in the World Tour field that they can possibly do. The ETS Guest Star Trophy, which has been provided by our championship exclusive supplier of sustainable racing fuels, ETS, still counts. And as Alex mentioned, Victor Anderson has doubled up in that category as well. So Victor will be looking for the ETS Star Trophy, but I think also he'll be looking for a very fine result as well. I know Victor Anderson very, very well from TCR Europe. We know he's a rapid pedaler every time he goes out on track in that Montland Motorsport Cupra. He just seems to get a wee bit quicker, does number 10. I expect Victor Anderson to most definitely not be wilting in this 31 degrees centigrade temperatures that we're enjoying here in Valencia. Great temperature to be at the beach, somewhat challenging to be inside a race car in full fireproof overalls. But if any drivers are up for the challenge, it's the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour field for sure. Beautiful shots then. We're having a look. The calm before the proverbial storm, some might say. Thunderstorms are predicted in the area tomorrow. A storm is predicted out on the track right here and right now. As Alex mentioned right at the top of the show, we've had punctures, we've had mechanical failures, we've had contact, we've had mistakes, we've had racing side-by-side action. We've had plenty of intensity as well. I predict we can double up on that one again and again for this final race. It's the last time that this field need to go on track here in Valencia. We're not back in action again until we go for rounds 6 and 7 at Paul Ricard on the 4th to the 5th of July. So any accident damage that's required during the course of this race, plenty of time to get it fixed up. And for a touring car driver, that means elbow sharpening time. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. We've lost a few drivers. We'll talk about that one in a moment for various reasons. But I am delighted to say that Julien Brichet has got that JSB competition, Hyundai Elantra and TCR, fixed and up and running. You'll notice there's what looks like a very borrowed front end. Different livery on the car, but he's back on the grid, and that's absolutely great for Julien Brichet. If you watch race 2 a little earlier today, you'd have seen from pole position, himself and Sten Dorian Piramagi came to blows in T1. A lot of damage on the front of the car. It's a small team. They've done a great job to get it up and running. So let's have a look at the starting grid then for round 5. It is Santiago Urrutia from Ted Bjork on the front row, Aurelien Comte and Noah Miklis are row 2, 3rd and 4th positions respectively. Victor Anderson will line up in 5th just alongside Mikel Azcona. Marcin Qua is 7th. Enzo Gianfratti has the 8th spot but won't be taking part in this race. Jan Olyshe starts 9th, Julien Brichet in 10th. Jimmy Claret will be 11th, Eric Zabala in 12th. Zabala, another driver that won't be taking part in this one. Sten Dorian Piramagi is 13th, alongside Sandro Pilate. René Paulsen in 15th position. Gabriele Corvine finally got a result. He starts in 16th. Then it's Raphael Fournier, Damiano Reduzzi, then Chalange and Fernandez in 19th and 20th places. Luke Sargent has a bit of a mechanical issue on that car, but is starting the race in 21st. Sebastian Cuerno in 22nd. Casalonga and Eroger 23rd and 24th places respectively. Bussan Fontaine will start in 25th. Jensen Brickley, his woes continue, don't they? We saw the car up in smoke from the race lead earlier. Jensen will start at the back of the field. Real shame then for Jensen Brickley, Mr. Fan Yi. Geely Motorsport boss there has the honour of waving the green flag. Absolutely fabulous stuff. That must be a wonderful, wonderful privilege to be able to signal the start of action commencing here at Valencia. I'm always excited for touring car racing, but I've got to admit, there is an even bigger glint in the eye coming into this one. I genuinely believe this is going to be a very, very entertaining race indeed. So ones to look out for then on this here formation lap. First few corners, you've got to have all eyes glued, haven't you, to cars number 181 and 111. Ted Bjork, Santiago Arrutia. Santi started at the head of the pack. He's looking to be the first ever driver to take 3 wins in an FIA touring car competition at the same event. I'll be honest, I think that's a very big possibility for the Uruguayan. He's quick, he has the best position. Ted Bjork kind of alluded to the fact that it may or may not be quite so aggressive down into T1. If Santi can get the car off of the line, he's going to be in a very good position for frankly a sensational result and a sensational weekend of racing. But there are 30 minutes and 1 lap between now and that conclusion, and if I've learnt anything from the world of touring cars, is a fool makes predictions. Anything can happen, and quite frankly, it usually does. In the world of tin tops, it is very far away from a fait accompli. The car number 181, Santiago Arrutia, at the head of the pack. Another couple of drivers to look out for. Jan Earlshay starting down there in 9th position. Jan, we know how quick he is. He has been absolutely riddled with misfortune over this weekend. Can he shake that off and finally get the results that his pace and performance most certainly deserves? Well, we don't have to wait too long now, dear people, do we? Because there we go. It is a short lap here. Again, just to remind you, if you're coming into the broadcast late, this is the national configuration of a Circuit Ricardo Tormo, so 3 kilometres or 1.9 miles in length. We cut out the technical middle section that you're more used to. It's faster, it's shorter, it's sharper, and trust me, it is ready to produce something quite spectacular, I am sure. We've got 23 cars on the grid. We've lost a couple, of course. As mentioned, TCR Spain racing alongside us. They're not racing for points, though, on this occasion. So the TCR Spain drivers are just here for the glory of the motor race. That's why we'll have a few gaps in the field. I did see somebody very briefly come down pit lane. Who is that one? Oh, I know. Look out your window, find out. It is, wait for them to come past me, Samuel Chalin, Team Claret Sport 433 car in pit lane, so early trouble for the Frenchman. Here we go then, at the back of the field. You can see the green flag. We are good to go. Motor racing. All eyes to the lights at the top of your screen. All are on, all are off. And the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour round number 5 is underway. Santiago Arrutia, absolutely lightning start. But look at the second phase of the launch for Ted Bjork. That is a really good second phase of that launch period. Bjork looks to the outside. You're going to be vulnerable there, though. Aurelian Comte can't quite find a way past. Just behind the 2 BRC Hyundais, Victor Anderson in the fight as well. Victor looks to the outside line. The Swedish driver is going to be vulnerable there. Manages to stay on the racetrack. A little bit of a squiggly moment for Aurelian Comte as well. That opens the door very nicely indeed to the 2 BRC Hyundais. Thank you very much, they say. Go through the gap nice and smoothly. 3rd and 4th positions respectively. Mikel Azcona being the one in 4th, Noah Miklas being the one in 3rd position. Look at the back of your shot though, that's Victor Anderson still having a little nubble. And hello, Jan Earlshay, straight in the heart of battle, the French driver. Very much in the fight now, up to 8th position. Climbing over the back of the Monlau Motorsport Cooper. Marcin Qua has rearranged the front end of that Geely Motorsports machine as well. The Geely Cyan racing car, heavy damage for the Chinese driver. Ma doing a good job still running it on the racetrack, but that is not going to help neither performance nor cooling of the blue machine. Marcin Qua might be in early trouble at this stage. No, Jensen Brickley's day gets even worse. The British driver in pit lane, what I dare say will be an early retirement. So, Lap 1 in the books already. The Jan Elishay check is 7th position. Good start to the race for him. That is Marchingois under a lot of pressure. Sandro Palatti being the next man trying to find a way past the Italian. Looks to the inside, not quite enough room on this occasion. Raphael Fournier finds a Luke Sargent open door and walks through it. The yellow machine versus the green and a luminous highlights Audi. Sargent, as mentioned, was carrying a bit of a mechanical in race 2. Hopefully they've got that resolved, but it doesn't look particularly good. Dorian Piramage tries to take advantage. Dorian Piramage does take advantage. Luke Sargent then doesn't want to give it up. He's going to have the inside line for the next corner. Can he keep the high ground? Yes, he can. Great bit of driving from the Englishman there. Tries to run Piramage out of racetrack. Not able to do so, though. The fight continues. Good bit of work there for Sargent. Gets it done and done. Damiano Reduzzi having a little look behind as well. We'll take a look at the damage on Marchingois' machine. Big damage for the Chinese driver. Hopefully he can shake it off, but judging by the fact that Sandro Palatti is clinging onto him like a cheap suit, suggests perhaps that car is a bit more hobbled than Moore would particularly like it to be. Lap 2 in the books. Arrutia, still your race leader. Ted Bjork, job done for Geely Cyan Racing, isn't it? Make sure you get through T1 nice and clean, manage it from there. That's working marvellously. Sandro Palatti again looks to the outside of Marchingois. Again, he's given the racing room. Good bit of respect there from both drivers. Palatti covers the inside line, gets it done and done. Mar has absolutely no opportunity to respond. Rennie Paulson and Raphael Fournier involved. Oh, Julian Brichet with his new front end of the car has a rat-a-tat-tat with Jimmy Claret. Claret didn't like that, but Julian Brichet gets it done and dusted. Combative driving from the Frenchman. That moves him into 8th position. Claret down into 9th place. Sandro Palatti newly up into 10th position, having found a way past Mar. And that's how they run, as Raphael Fournier in the back of your shot almost collects the tyre stack, but does a sterling job to get it back on the racing surface in his battle with Luke Sargent. Here is Fournier again. Looking to the outside of Piramage. Can't find a way past on this occasion. Piramage, for good measure, has the inside line for Rennie Paulson. Paulson, though, gets the door very firmly shut. Good bit of driving there from the Honda. And let's have another look at what happened with Julian Brichet and Jimmy Claret. Not sure I quite understand that one. Contact, though, was the end. Let's have a ride on board with the Frenchman. Yeah, I don't think he understood that one either. That was not optimal, as they say in motor racing, but the end result is both cars still on the racetrack and fighting hard, as there is Damiano Reduzzi taking the wide line, avoiding the tyre stack. Be careful on the rejoin, just behind Gabby Corvini and just ahead of Matthew Casalonga. So Casalonga doing a decent job so far in 18th position. By the way, just confirmed Busson Fontaine is in pit lane. Jensen Brickley is on an outlap, so I think the JB back out on the racetrack is champ. But at the moment, a long way away from the rest of the racing pack. There's Aurelien Comte, car number 107. Dropping back slightly, methinks, now from the cars in front. But not dropping back in one iota is the Julian Brichet-Jimmy Claret fight. Round number 42, the two Frenchmen very much keen to liberate the positions from each other. Brichet, though, is the one that holds the advantage. 8th place so far. Good performance. There is Fontaine. Real shame. Lovely livery. Really do like that out. It's very nice indeed. But sadly, it ain't going anywhere at this moment in time. They're in pit lane, and that looks a little bit terminal, methinks. Ooh, hello. Why is Frederick Fallon coming out of pit lane? That might be a problem. Could that be for Marchingois? Yes, it could. Right on cue, looking out of my window. Ooh, in real life, that damage looks even bigger than it does on the TV. Marchingois, then, I'm afraid to say, his day is done. A weekend that promised so much for the Chinese driver. He looked good for race number 2, didn't he? With the reverse top 10 grid. Wouldn't quite go the way that he would be hoping it would go, I'm afraid to say. But it's still very nice Geely Cyan Racing. Look at this. 1-2. Santi Arrutia. He said to Alex on the grid, he doesn't care about the records in the history books. I don't think that's true at all. I think that would mean the world to him if he could become the first FIA touring car 3-time winner in one weekend. Marchingois very much out of contention now, it seems. And it looks like Santiago Arrutia has this one covered, doesn't it? 9/10 of a second last time around at the flag. over teammate Ted Bjork. Looking good for the Uruguayan. I think on the fight from Aurelien Comte. I was about to say, I may even have started to say, that Aurelien seems to be dropping back a little bit. Well, delete that from the history books. I was wrong. Aurelien Comte very much on a charge. As we ride on board, lovely shot this one. On board, you can see the driver, you can see through the windscreen, you can really see just how hard it is to race a TCR touring car. And look how hard Mikel Azcona's racing a TCR touring car. Steering with the rear is the Spanish driver at this moment in time. Azcona looking very, very leery indeed. But we'll come away from this and have a quick look at the race start once again. So this is a replay. Watch the initial launch. Is very, very nice from Santiago Urrutia, but then he gets the wheel spin. It's the second phase where things change a little bit slower further down as well. That's the 437 in Strice, then Dorian Piramage. That explains why he's a little bit further back, and this explains why Ted Bjork ever so close to taking that race lead. Couldn't quite pull it off. Victor Anderson on his tippy toes as well in the early stages. The outside line, though, never works out too well. And I think we missed that one during the live. Damiano Reduzzi and Raphael Fournier came together very briefly in the back of your shot. That's riding on board with Mikel. And that's how you make an overtake. Mikel Azcona, very nicely done indeed. Clears the inside of Aurelien Comte. So Comte shuffled down a little. That's what it looked like on board the Frenchman's car. Not one, but two BRC Hyundais in a bit of racetrack you want to be does not lead to a good time for the Frenchman Aurelien Comte. Back with the live pictures though, and it seems like car number 107 is doing his level best to compensate for that suboptimal opening lap. Glued to the back still of Mikel Azcona, and Mikel really struggling for pace. It seems at this stage as Marcin Hua is really struggling for a good mood. Out of the car, out of the motor race, out of the weekend for Marcin Hua. Picking back up again, the fight here. Mikel Azcona currently in fourth position. Aurelien Comte just behind in fifth, keeping a watching brief. Now this has been a slow burner so far between these two. Comte looks like he has the pace over Azcona, but what he doesn't have is the opportunity at this moment in time. The Spanish driver ahead looking much less comfortable behind the wheel. This is the new chicane that we go through that brings us back on to the original format of the racetrack. Then we roll downhill into the final corner. It's a difficult corner. The car's trying to run away with you. But both drivers have a relatively strong line through there. Early Comte's team, SP competition, concerned, watching on. Aurelien doing good work so far, getting into the fresh air, just trying to keep the car nice and cool, waiting for the right moment. There is no need to be glued to the back of Mikel Azcona. Mikel is an exceptional talent. He does not make mistakes versus pressure. What you've got to wait for is for your car to be in the right window versus the one that you're racing, and then strike immediately. That'll be the plan for Aurelien Comte. You know what they say about plans. You make them, and then you screw them up at the first sign of contact. And that's exactly what is happening. As soon as battle commences, all of the strategy goes out the window. And it's a pure game of survival, especially in these temperature conditions. These drivers are pushing this mentally and physically to the absolute limit. In other news, by the way, car number 13 has a drive-through penalty. That is Manuel Fernandez for a jump start. So Fernandez, not great news for him. He's currently in 18th position, so drive-through penalty will have to be served within the next 3 laps. Has to serve it in race, of course, otherwise the penalisations become gargantuan. And Fernandez, I'm afraid to say, it's not been the Portuguese driver's day. It's been wonderful load of meeting this weekend. He's a lovely chap, really is a nice guy, and I expect we'll be seeing quite a bit more of him in the years to come. Car 411 has a drive-through penalty as well. That would be the RX Pro Racing Machine of Poussin Fontaine. So he's in pit lane anyway. He won't be serving that one. Fontaine's day well and truly over and done with. Not the race 3 that they would have been hoping for. And sometimes this is motor racing. You win some, you lose some. Or if you're Gilles Saillant Racing, you win everything, it seems. They're doing an absolute sterling job, aren't they? Watching on tentatively as their man, Santiago Urrutia, continues to lead the field from teammate Ted Bjork. Further confirmation then, the top of your screen, drive through for car 411. The It'll be interesting to serve that one as they're already in pit lane and stationary. That one becomes a bit academic, I think, over the course of this race. Not the race number 3 that Fontaine would have been looking for. However, Ted Bjork, he said he wanted to be, I want to say cautious, because that's absolutely the wrong word, but didn't want to get into too much trouble in this race, get the big points, get them banked, do wonders for his championship. Well, he's doing an absolutely great team job at the moment, holding off Norbert Miklas behind. Norbert, Hungarian driver's been low-key this weekend, scoring big points, picking up strong results, but not quite with the headline pace that we've come to expect from the Hungarian driver. It's working very well indeed, though, as things stand. Third place, bottom step of the podium, not for the first time this weekend, it has to be said, would go down very well indeed. But Mikel Azcona's in problems, isn't he? Mikel Azcona's in trouble. Look at this one. Aurelien Comp then closes on to the back of Mikel Azcona. We're right on board with the French driver. On a charge now is Aurelien Comp. This is going to be very much advantage to car number 107 at this moment in time. Azcona does not look comfortable out there on the racetrack. The car's moving around a little bit underneath him. Mikel steering a little with the rear. Seems to be struggling for grip, struggling for balance in the BRC Hyundai N Squad the Corse machine. He has an air of the inevitability about it somewhat, methinks, doesn't it, for Mikel versus Aurelien Comp? Big question is, 16 minutes, 53 seconds plus 1 lap. Can the Spanish driver hold on? Finished 5th in race 2 earlier today. Was leading by a country mile in race 1. Okay, not a country mile, to be fair, like about a second or so. Before a issue brought an end, well, I say a puncture brought an end to his victory charge. Come back to that one in a moment, though, because this maybe is what happened to Manuel Fernandes. That was a good move, actually, down to T1 for the Portuguese driver. Unfortunately for Fernandes, his day did get a little bit worse after that one. Still has to serve that penalty before we come to the end of the race. Fernandes currently running in a very respectable 17th position so far. Lap time check. Last time around, Mikel Azcona, 21.2. Aurelien Comp, 21.6. That is purely limited by the pace of the Spanish driver. Aurelien, we know, can go quicker. They'll be absolutely desperate to find a way past. The longer he stays behind Mikel, the further detached he gets from the fight for the podium. And perhaps that's exactly the strategy. Protect Norby, keep him on the bottom step, make sure that there's not enough time for Aurelien Comp to close up to that one. So far, so good for BRC. A little bit of damage you see on board Jimmy Claire's car. Front splitter, front wheel arch, no real problem though. He's following Jan Earlishay. Earlishay 7th position. Not the charge forward we were expecting from the Frenchman, is it? Jan, been a little bit sedate so far, making sure he keeps the car in fine fettle, making sure he can at least bag some race points. He got some points for qualifying, of course, but for the races, they're the bigger payouts, and for Jan, he desperately needs to come away from this weekend with some kind of a salvage job. Well, Jimmy Claire has a look to the inside on this occasion. First weekend in the ALM Motorsports Honda Civic for Jimmy. This is a car sharing arrangement between himself and brother Teddy. We saw them both racing in TCR Europe last year, came incredibly close to the title, and now up on the world stage for a new team, not running in their own car, which is ever so bizarre for me to say. Weird to see him in a Honda, but Jimmy is very much adapting quickly to the new mount he finds himself under. Let's have a look what happened here. This is Erige saying, I like the chicane, but I prefer to ignore it even more. Not wonderful. And Casalonga tries desperately to stay on the racetrack as well. There's having a racing room, basically, because there's an Erige coming up as inside. Had to make space. Both drivers went to the gravel. Demir and Casalonga both survived, although the Frenchman is in pit lane. So we're running out of cars quite quickly, aren't we? We seem to be hemorrhaging vehicles left, right and centre for various reasons. But of those left on the racetrack, Jimmy Claire seems like the man who's a little bit more enthusiastic than the rest to do something about the car in front. Not very often you see Jan Earlishay struggling for pace versus those around him. And it's fair to say on this occasion, though, the Frenchman, well, they're both French, the Frenchman at the head of these two, Jan Earlishay, seems to be under pressure, doesn't he? 168 does not look comfortable on the racetrack in comparison to 121 behind. Difficult to pass though around Valencia, and Jimmy's going to have to use all of his racing prowess to find a way through. Can he do it though in 13 minutes 15 seconds plus 1 lap? Keep watching to find out. Santiago Arrutia then still leads this motor race. 1.3 seconds is the advantage over teammate Ted Bjork. Just behind Norbert Mikkelis, keeping a watching brief. Close enough to be a nuisance, not quite close enough to be a threat at this moment in time. I've got a feeling our little Norby has a trick or two up his sleeve. I think he'll be interested in trying to leverage that second place away from Ted, and in fact, as I speak, Ted doesn't have the best run through the chicane, does he? So Norby inches just a few millimetres closer. Little by little, car number 105, our double Kumho FIA TCR World Tour champion. He wants that trophy back, doesn't he? It's been a slow start to the season for Norby, I think it's fair to say, despite the success that he's achieved. Not quite the level that we're used to. But points are getting banked. And what do they say about points? This is a British reference, so my apologies, but points make prizes. And that's exactly what Norby and BRC are looking for. Bank, bank, bank the scores wherever you can. Take the wins whenever the form book falls your way. And at the end of the season, when we get to Macau, if you're in with a sniff of the championship, you're in with a sniff of the championship. Good mature drive then from car 105. Now Mitchell's doing a great job so far to shadow Ted Bjork ahead. As mentioned, not quite close enough yet to look at making the overtake, but certainly for sure the Hungarian driver is not quite done with the story yet, methinks. Save the car till we get to the point at the end of the race where it matters. That's where fun can be found. Aurelian Combs been a bit disappointing, if you can be disappointing in 5th position, I suppose. Maybe the bar has been set very high now for Aurelian, a victim of his own success, isn't he? I expected him to be much more lively in this motor race, but he started to drop back from Mikel Azcona a little bit last time around, 21.8 versus a 21.6 for Mikel. So Aurelian Combs now, I think, is beginning into the sunset stage of this motor race, proverbially speaking, of course. Pace does seem to be dropping away from Aurelian a little bit. Just behind Victor Anderson, keeping a watching brief again, not quite close enough to cause a nuisance just yet. Jimmy Claret, Jan Erlichey continue their little squabble. Erlichey holds the advantage for now. Claret using this opportunity to have a little look, have a little think, understand where the relative strengths and weaknesses are between himself and the Geely Scion racing machine in front. Jimmy's got 10.5 minutes plus 1 lap to do something about it. He wants to make it happen. It's going to have to be very soon indeed. That's a mistake, by the way, on board. We saw a little mistake there from Jan. Ran a little bit deep, kicked up a bit of gravel, no problem, no momentum loss. It'll only take a couple of corners to clean those tyres off. Jan Erlichey looks ragged, doesn't he? Well, rocky, no, that's not exaggerating. Not ragged, but he definitely doesn't look as smooth and as composed as we are typically used to seeing. Larry then will be smelling an opportunity. To take the opportunity, though, we need to be a little bit closer than we currently are, and Jimmy has got some work to do. He wants to close on the back of that Geely Scion racing machine. Just to confirm then, Matthew Casalonga is in pit lane. Johnson Brickley saying he's out on the racetrack, but very much detached from the field. Wilson Fontaine in retirement, Marcin Hua. Enzo Gianfratti didn't start, neither did Eric Zabala. Samuel Chalin in 25th in retirement. Sebastian Cuerno didn't start this one as well. Right then, Gabby Covini. Not seeing much of Gabrielli in this race. Currently in a fight for 13th position. Covini to the inside, to the outside. Raphael Fournier, the yellow machine. Ooh, big contact. Wheel rub between the two. They'll get away with that one, though, I'm absolutely sure. No damage on either car. Covini takes away that 13th place. Fournier drops down into 14th position, the French driver. Won't have been happy about it, though. And I'm sure he will be very much on a mission to try and take away that 13th position again. Just like at the head of the pack, Norby is on a mission to take second away from Ted Bjork, and a little bit further down, Claret and Jan Erlichey. Not quite engaged in battle just yet. We're not a million miles away from it. It feels like this is a story that has a conclusion. We don't know what the conclusion is going to be just for a little while. Hold on to your hats, keep your patience, folks. It's brewing nicely. And I think this one's going to be a bit of a battle. Although I do say my prediction, this is going to be an absolutely cracking race, perhaps wasn't necessarily on point. It's been a slow burner. Been a little bit steady away. I have to admit that one. But there's still plenty of drama left to unfold. Very much coming from this battle here as well. Jimmy now decided. Time to pull the pin, time to find some lap time, and time to take some opportunities should they present themselves. Jan Earlyshay is no fool. He'll know he's under pressure. Runs a little bit deep, does Jan. Trail breaking into the corner. Runs onto the curb for the easiest swoop around the left-hander, then hard on the brake. Tip the car into the apex, catch the curb, run it to the outside of the racetrack for the smoothest and shortest line possible. Then, we're very unbalanced through this section of corners. Good bit of grip there for Jimmy Claret. Looks comfortable behind the wheel, doesn't he? Not working hard, not trying to keep the car on the racing line, not battling any under or oversteer. The ALM Motorsports Honda Civic is broadly doing what the driver needs from it. And for Jimmy, that's going to empower him with confidence in his fight against Jan Earlyshay. And trust me, not many people pass Jan. It's going to be something special to find a way past the 168. Picking this fight up again then through the final corner. Earlyshay concentrating on corner exit. He needs the run down the long back straight to make sure he stays far enough away from Jimmy Claret behind, because of course, if you get the run into T1, you are very vulnerable to an overtake. No problem though on this occasion for Jan Earlyshay. Cleanly through the first corner, that is Frederick Vallen, the third man in the middle there. Team manager, of course, of the Geely Sayar Racing Squad. He's the one responsible for his 3 charges out of the racetrack, and so far they're doing a grand job matching Quar, of course, into an early retirement for the front-end contact that we saw on the blue machine. But it's still game on up front. Santiago Urrutia, Ted Bjork 1-2. Jan Earlyshay in 7th position. Not quite the charge through the pack that we were expecting, but still useful points for Jan. And if it's a very big word, as Murray Walker once said, if he can hold on to that position. You can see how hard he's pushing, can't you? Look how close the rear quarter was to that tyre barrier there. Jan using absolutely every millimetre of the racetrack available to him. Seems like he needs to at this stage. Struggling a little bit. 30 kilos on board, of course, for Jan Earlyshay. We're riding with Jimmy Claret. None. No extra weight on the Honda. It's a big opportunity for Jimmy. Tyres are going to be looked after better. The raw pace of the car should theoretically be a little bit better as well. All Jimmy needs to do is close his eyes, send it, and hope for the very best. Of course, he won't do that one. It'll be a measured overtake, but it's going to take something special, isn't it, for Jimmy Claret to find a way past. And either a mistake from Jan, good luck for that happening, they don't happen, or it's going to have to be a hope for the best type manoeuvre. Jimmy, I dare say Victor Anderson maybe is losing a little bit of pace as well, isn't he? The Monland Motorsports Cupra last time around was a couple of tenths of a second behind in terms of lap time. The chasing pack, so Victor is in a little bit of danger. He might get roped in to this particular battle. Anderson currently in 6th position. Not racing, of course, for TCR Spain points on this occasion, but he is racing for the ETS Guest Star Driver Trophy. Nolan Miklas's willingness to get involved in the fight seems to be receding a little bit as well on this occasion. Pretty much near as makes no difference. 0.02 of a second difference in lap time between himself and Ted Bjork. But Norby's not in an attacking posture just yet, is he? Car doesn't quite look like it's on its tiptoes. The body language doesn't suggest aggression. I think Norby's taking the sensible and safe approach. Bring the car home in 3rd place, look after it, protect yourself from any dramas or mechanicals. It's hard out there, it's hard on the car and the tyres. 3rd place will do very nicely indeed for the 2025 and 2024 Kumho FIA TCR. Sorry, 2024 and 2023 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour Champion. 2 podiums from the weekend. Not a bad result at all for Norby. He'll be satisfied with that one. Gabby Corvini, he'll hope to be satisfied with this one though. Has a look to Rennie Paulson. Can't find the inside line, can Gabriele. This is your battle for 12th position. Poulsen in that 12th spot. Corvini in 13th, just behind Rafael Fournier, 14th position. Young, likeable Italian has a little look. The Honda ahead, unable to keep the pace, it seems, are the chasing Hyundai. So Gabby Corvini looks quicker than the car ahead. But being quick is one thing. Being a sleight of hand and sleight of feet to get to the inside is an entirely different matter altogether. But Corvini, look at this one. Body language, aggression ramped up to 10 now. The Italian driver tries to find a way past. Can't do it, though, on this occasion. 3 minutes plus 1 lap on the clock. The time is a-ticking for this particular fight. And if Corvini's going to find a way past, he needs to find a way past very, very soon indeed. Through the chicane we go then. Corvini painted to the back of René Poulsen's car. Will he be able to find an opportunity, though? That's the big question in the dying embers of this motor race. Poulsen makes a mistake to the final corner. This is the chance. Corvini doesn't need asking twice. Thank you very much indeed, says the Italian. I'll have the 12th place away from you. And he gets it done. Easiest overtake Gabriele Corvini is going to be making all race long. Job done. 12th place is his. Poulsen under pressure then from Rafael Fournier now, so falling backwards is René Poulsen. Fournier has a little think about it as well. Doesn't look to the inside on this occasion, just concentrates. Mind your P's and Q's at this stage. Concentrate on the braking points, get the apex, get the corner exit. That's the plan of attack for Rafael Fournier. It's working very nicely indeed. Outside line, not the best call. Tries to nip it back to the apex. There's a Honda in the way. No options. Sideways as well from the Frenchman. Lovely scenes there from Rafael Fournier, pushing the limits and maybe even a little bit more as well for good measure. Still can't find a way past the Danish driver. Can Rafael Fournier, though? Will he have another opportunity? We'll stay with this fight as we charge our way through the back portion of the racetrack. That's the old track we've gone past. This is the new part through the chicane. Poulsen. Car looked a little bit reluctant, didn't it, to turn in on that occasion. A lot of understeer on board the 441, and you can see that in terms of how much pressure he finds himself under. That's where the mistake came on the previous lap that allowed Gabby Corvini to find his way past. No such dramas on this occasion. Rafael Fournier, he senses this is his time to do something. And he's trying very, very hard indeed. Jenson Brickley isn't in the fight in the back of your shot. He's several laps down, 2 laps down to be precise. The British driver, not quite sure why he's flashing his lights to get out of the way. It's not your fight, Jenson. Back out of it. Not your fight. Rafael Fournier needs full attention on what's going in front of him. Rafael Fournier seems to be more concerned about what Jenson Brickley's doing. But I'm not quite sure what the strategy is here for Jenson, but this is not the right play, my friend. This is not the right play at all. Please don't make contact with Fournier. Just about avoids it. Jenson, of course, new tyres, new boots on the wagon. So he's got a bit more grip than those around him, and quite frankly, he should be at the head of the pack. And this is the fight for 13th and 14th. This is not the level where he is. He's much further up the road than this one. But he is making a bit of a nuisance of himself, is Jenson, and yeah, can't say I'm particularly fond of this. Be interesting to find out what the logic is behind it come the conclusion of the race. But what it does mean is Rafael Fournier is now strangely going defensive. Whether he's aware that Jenson Brickley's on a different lap to him or not, I don't know. And Fournier is spending more time fighting what's going on behind. Means you can spend less concentration on what's going on ahead. And it's just 2 guys having fun now, isn't it, really? At the end of the race, just having a motor race. They're already here. Why not? Have a little battle. Jenson Brickley then to the inside. Not on the same lap, not 4th position, but the passing still looks good. Jenson Brickley, can't say overtakes because it didn't, but put the car in front of Rafael Fournier on the racetrack. Car number 246 has the real estate. Fournier, if I was him, be absolutely seething about that one, because that has completely ruined his fight with René Poulsen in front. One fight that isn't completely ruined, though, is Stendorian Piramage and Julien Brichet. When was the last time I said those 2 names together? Ah, that's right, when they were collecting each other in T1 of race number 2. Let's hope it is a slightly more palatable end result this time. Brichet 9th, Piramage in 10th. Final lap then of the weekend here for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour at the beautiful circuit Ricardo Toro in Valencia. Santiago Urrutia leads across the line, and he is but 1.926 miles away from making history as the very first FIA touring car driver to have scored 3 wins in one weekend. There are still a couple of corners to go yet. Let's not count the chickens before they are hatched, as they say. Santiago Urrutia is going to take something exceptional to spoil his day. What a weekend for the Uruguayan driver. If you had been cold about it, you could say that he inherited the 2 wins from problems amongst others. But one thing you can say for sure is this one has been a victory earned through his own hard graft. It's been a sterling drive from the Uruguayan driver. And his just reward is going to be a place in the history books. Through the final corner for the final time this weekend, Santiago Urrutia makes history in touring car competition. 3 races, 3 victories, and the final one in commanding style. An incredible performance from a sensational driver in an absolutely phenomenal weekend. Ted Bjork finishes in 2nd place, and right at the very death, some might say this is real payback for race number 2. No, but Mikel Azcona swapped positions. Norby drops to 4th. Mikel reaches the bottom step of the podium on home soil. A small amount of redemption for the Spanish driver on what has been a painful weekend where the pace was there, but the results not quite. At least he gets the opportunity to enjoy the podium. Right then, let's have a look at this one. So this is what happened then. This is on board with Mikel Azcona, and exactly as we said, Norby slows it down. Mikel, thank you very much to Norby. I wondered in race 2 if there was a little bit of swapping going on between the two in the other way around. Looks like that's confirmed now, because that's the payback. And Mikel Azcona, thank you, says to his teammate, takes the bottom step of the podium on home soil. But really, all the focus has to be on Santiago Urrutia, does it not? 3 races, 3 race wins. Boom. That's how you go motor racing. Well done indeed for Santiago Urrutia. And that is going to help his championship no end. Good stuff from Ted Bjork in 2nd place as well. And as mentioned, Mikel right at the back gets that podium place. And that's what it does, provisionally at least, to the Drivers' Championship points. 20-point advantage for Santiago Urrutia. Mikel Azcona still very much in contention, as is Norby. Jan Oleshe, 63 in arrears. It's doable, it's more than possible. 7th place in race number 3 isn't the result that Jan expected to take away. He took 2 victories, of course, and a podium here last season. It's a different layout, different car as well for Jan. But the result and the feeling is very different as well, indeed. Whew. Not the best race in the whole wide world, but not bad. For Santiago Urrutia, probably been the most exciting thing he's ever done. 3 wins, history book. Oh, Santiago Urrutia. When I say it's an FIA touring car, I include all FIA touring cars in that one, not just the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, but all the things that came before as well, under different regulation sets too. He took the win. He took the win. And he took the win. 3 races, 3 victories. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. You don't see that very often. And that is a very good weekend's work indeed. I hope he's got carry-on luggage. I hope he's got a bit of capacity as well, because he's going to have quite a few trophies to take home with him. Is Santiago Urrutia. Man, oh man, does he deserve that one. There we go. Taking the plaudits from the team. Absolutely brilliant stuff down pit lane. Thumbs up. Well, he promised Alex, didn't he, that he's going to do the leap off the top of the car, the checkered flag. Let's see if that's so. So we go through the pit lane, out back into the paddock again. It's a little bit quieter now as the day's starting to wind down, so hopefully it's not quite as challenging. Look at that. Means the world to Santiago, doesn't it? And so it should. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely, truly outstanding this weekend. Into the winners' arena we go. for our third time this weekend, second time today. Santiago Arrutia is going to be celebrating very wildly indeed. The TCR media crew getting there, all ready to capture the shot. They saw the jump, they heard the promise. Gino's there with the camera, ready to go. Everybody wants this shot, and look at that. The smile's going to be, yeah, this is amazing. I love these moments. Let's be quiet and just enjoy it for a second. No, good. Yeah, you promised me a leap, Santi. Look at that one. Probably wise not to do so, actually. Straight to the team. You can see how much it means, can't you? You can see how much this means. These guys are professionals. They're paid to go out there and perform for their team and their manufacturers. But deep down, through and through, we're all race car drivers. We all love what we do. We all love the sport. We all love the thrill of competition. But when it goes well, man, does it go well. Big congratulations there from Jan. Very sporting of Early despite the difficult weekend he's had. First man to go and give congratulations to Santiago. Fabulous, fabulous stuff. Pose for the photos 3, that's right. History books for you, Santiago Arrutia. That will go down forever in the books. The first one to win 3 races in FIA touring car competition. Absolutely incredible. Few moments time then, we'll have our podium, only the one podium on this occasion, as mentioned. Let's have another look at the drivers' points. 20 is the advantage now for Santiago Arrutia over teammate Ted Bjork. 29 back, Mikel Azcona. Not been a bad weekend, has it, for Mikel? Norby a further 5 adrift in 4th. Aurelien Comte keeps banging in those good results, does the French driver. Only 37 away from the top of the tree. Jan Earlishay, though, look at that one. 63 adrift in 6th. Martin Quaz, bad race. Led to a bad result in the standings as well. He's now down to 7th. Victor Anderson up into 8th place. That's a little positive result for the Scandinavian. Swedish driver, sorry. Jenson Brickley in 9th. Esteban Guerrieri in 10th. And look at this then. Some slow-mo shots of our race, but I do like me a good slow-mo, I must admit. And that's probably the only time Santiago Arrutia can ever be accused of going slowly, is when we wind it down on the camera, because he has been faster than a fast thing in Fastville, trying to get away from danger this weekend. Absolutely incredible. The point man, in terms of points for the Geely Cyan Racing squad, an incredible result. Right then, let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Alex Legui has our race winner, Santiago Arrutia.
Incredible work. What a race 3 that was for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Santiago Arrutia, you have made history. You are the first FIA touring car driver to win 3 races over one weekend. What a drive it's been.
Yes, I wouldn't achieve this without my team. So first of all, thank you to Cyan Racing and Geely. They give me an awesome car from the start of the season, and to be here, you know, I live in Barcelona, so it's quite close, Valencia, and to all the Uruguayan fans, all the people, thank you very much. It's been amazing weekend. Yeah, I mean, I did my best, and I ended up winning the 3 races, and now we go race by race. We have a bit of time before Paul Ricard, so we will need to work a lot with the team. But I'm very happy, especially for my team. So thank you guys for these 3 victories. Come on! Come on! That's okay.
Okay, congratulations. Let's go for our podium.
Absolutely brilliant stuff there for Santiago Arrutia. You can see what it means, can't you? You can see just how much this means. He's been racing for a while, he said on the grid, didn't he? Only feels like 5 minutes since he made his debut in TCR. Well, he's now one of our established names. Okay, let's have a look at the highlights of the race we've just enjoyed.
Vamos con el podio de la tercera manga de este TCR World Tour.
Please welcome onto the podium and give a huge round of applause for BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsés, Mikel Azcona.
Tercer clasificado, Mikel Azcona.
Please keep the applause going as we welcome onto the podium from Geely Cyan Racing, it's Ted Bjork.
Desde Suecia, en la segunda plaza, Ted Bjork.
And give it up for the winner for the third time this weekend from Geely Cyan Racing, it's Santi Urrutia.
3 de 3, Santiago Urrutia.
Please also welcome our ETS Driver Trophy again for the third time this weekend from Monlau, it's Victor Andersen.
El cuarto clasificado es Victor Andersen como mejor piloto carrera por carrera.
And representing Geely Cyan Racing is Mr. Wang Bo, the General Manager of Geely China Star.
El equipo vencedor Geely Cyan Racing, representado por Wang Bo, director general de China Star Geely.
And now for the Uruguayan national anthem for Santi Urrutia.
Escuchamos en honor del vencedor el himno de Uruguay. Ese aplauso para los pilotos.
And now for our trophies. Presenting our Race 3 trophies is Ricardo Florencio Silva, the organizer of Volrace Summer Festival. He'll be presenting our third position trophy to Mikel Azcona.
Don Ricardo Florencio Silva, organizador de la Volrace Summer Festival, entrega el trofeo a Mikel Azcona.
He will also be presenting our second position trophy to Ted Bjork.
Lo entrega a Ted Bjork como segundo clasificado.
And our winner's driver's trophy to Santi Urrutia.
Y para el vencedor, Santiago Urrutia.
And presenting our team's trophy to team representative Mr. Wang Bo, the general manager of Geely China Star.
Entrega el trofeo al Geely China Star, señor Wang Bo, director general de China Star Geely.
And the ETS Racing Fuel Sales Manager Eduardo Ferrarini will present the ETS trophy to Monlau's Victor Andersen.
Y don Eduardo Ferrarini, director de ventas de ETS Racing Fuels, entrega a Victor Andersen el trofeo como mejor piloto carrera por carrera.
Please come together for your official photograph.
Las fotografías junto a las autoridades de los 5 premiados.
Grab those bottles.
Y ya va la última carrera, la del Prosecco. 3, 2, 1. ¿Quién ha ganado? Urrutia.
Muchas gracias, Saroros. Thank you so much for joining us. What an incredible weekend it's been. We love coming to Valencia. Thank you for having us. Gracias. Adios.
There we go then. Podium celebrations over and done with. And what a weekend it has been. As Alex mentioned, we absolutely love coming to Valencia. The people, the championship, the circuit, the infrastructure, and everything included is just absolutely first rate. And it's been a great weekend of racing. Confirmation then of how they crossed the line for round 5 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour is on your screen. For the third time of asking, Santiago Urrutia takes it again at the head of the pack. Ted Bjork, Mikel Azcona being the podium, and of Norbert Mikulis, Aurelien Comte. Victor Andersen in 6th with the ETS Guest Star Trophy award to his name. Then Jan Earlishay, Jimmy Clary, Julian Brisci, and Sten Dorian Piramagi round out the top 10. Incredible performance from Sandro Palatti in 11th, just ahead of Gabriele Corvini. And then René Paulsen 13th, Raphael Fournier 14th, Luke Sargent in 15th position, Damiano Raduzzi in 16th place, and then Manuel Fernandez 17th, Amir Erige in 18th, Jenson Brickley 3 laps down, but crosses the line in 19th, Busan Fortan in 21st place, Marcin Kua 22nd, Enzo Gianfrate, Eric Zabala, Samuel Chalin and Sebastian Cuerno failed to take the start. Wow. Touring car racing, you gotta love it. Absolutely fabulous stuff then this weekend. This is what it's done to the Drivers' Championship standings after 5 of 20 rounds. 20 points is the advantage over Ted Bjork for Santiago Arrutia. A further 9 adrift, Mikael Azcona. 5 back is Norbert Mikulis. And then another 3 to Aurelian Comte. Then we take a big jump of no less than 23, 4, 5, 6, 7 points to Jan Erlichey. 6th position. You wouldn't have put any money on that one at the start of the season when we was at Mazzano, would you? Erlichey's weekend, Erlichey's season, not quite going to plan for the Frenchman. I've got a feeling that Paul Ricard, he's going to be a man on a mission. Watch out for Jan in France. Home soil. Incredible stuff. Speaking of which then, we're back in action on the 4th and the 5th of July for round 6 and 7 at Paul Ricard. I've been Paul Jeffrey. Alex Legui has been down on the grid. From the whole team in the back of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. And until next time, stay safe, have fun, and see you again. Bye-bye.